Welcome back to Literal BS. This is Rob, and today we're diving headfirst into one of the most dangerous trends in American governance. Federal officials openly defying the rule of law. This week, Homeland Security Secretary Christie didn't just disagree with a federal judge's ruling. She called the judge an idiot. This wasn't a hot mic moment or a private leak. It was a public declaration of contempt toward the judicial branch. Because when the executive branch stops respecting court rulings, democracy teeters on the edge. So let's break it down. A federal judge in Southern California issued a decree on Friday that immigration and customs enforcement officers can no longer make arrests based solely on someone's race or the fact that they're speaking Spanish. The judge said you can't arrest people just because they're brown or speak a foreign language. This isn't some radical judicial activism. This is basic constitutional law. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. Using race as the sole basis for detention? That's textbook unconstitutional profiling. However, instead of respecting the ruling or appealing through proper channels, Christie decided to take drastic action. At a public appearance with immigration and customs enforcement officers in Florida, she said, and I quote, "Frankly, he's an idiot. Not in private. Not in a strategy meeting. In public, on the record, as a sitting cabinet secretary." Think about that for a second. The person responsible for enforcing our nation's laws just publicly trashed a federal judge for implementing the Constitution. This isn't Christie's first rodeo with judicial defiance. She's been racking up court losses faster than a casino gambler. Federal judges have blocked her attempts to end temporary protected status for Haitian migrants prematurely. They've stopped her from deporting people without a proper process. And each time, instead of adjusting course, she doubles down. But here's the thing, this isn't just about immigration policy. This is about the fundamental structure of the American government. We have three branches for a reason. When the executive branch decides it can ignore or openly mock the judicial branch, we're not talking about policy disagreements anymore. We're talking about a constitutional crisis. The judge didn't rule that immigration can't do its job. The judge ruled that immigration has to do its job constitutionally. But apparently, that's too much to ask from someone who during her Senate confirmation hearing couldn't even properly define habeas corpus, a basic legal principle that's been around since the 13th century. So why should you care about this beyond the obvious disrespect? Because this is how democracies die, not with tanks rolling down Constitution Avenue, but with officials systematically undermining the institutions that check their power. When a cabinet secretary calls a federal judge an idiot for upholding the Constitution, she's not just being unprofessional. She's sending a message to her department, to law enforcement, and the public that judicial rulings are optional. Constitutional protections can be ignored if they're inconvenient. This is the playbook of authoritarianism. Delegitimize the courts, undermine public trust in the law, and create an environment where only executive power matters. We've seen this movie before in other countries, and it doesn't end well. The rule of law isn't just some abstract concept. It's what separates us from banana republics. And here's the ultimate irony. This administration ran on law and order. They promised to restore respect for the law. Yet when officials start calling judges idiots for doing their job, it's time to call bullshit on the obvious. So here we are, an administration with a cabinet secretary publicly trashing federal judges for upholding the Constitution. The same people who wrapped themselves in the flag and talked about respecting our institutions are systematically tearing them down from the inside. This is what we mean when we talk about cutting through the BS. It's not about left versus right, it's about right versus wrong. And when the people sworn to defend our laws start calling judges idiots for enforcing them, that's not law and order. That's lawlessness with a badge. The rule of law doesn't care about your politics. It doesn't bend to convenience or popularity. And it sure as hell doesn't deserve to be mocked by people who took an oath to uphold it. That's your reality check for today. This has been Literal BS with my 2 cents on this matter. We'll be back next time to call out more bullshit wherever we find it. Subscribe, share this episode, and keep holding these people accountable.